You guys, my internet. It's so bad. Holy cow. Like, and I still haven't called and complained. I still need to call like every day or every other day to complain about my internet service because seriously, it's so bad. Anyways, hi, who's here? I see one person. There's one person here. Oh, of course, it's my personal assistant. It's Blaze. Blaze is here. Oh, I should yell at Lindsay. Get online. Get on YouTube. I'm live. I'm live? No, live. Yeah. My internet is so bad. I've been trying to upload the Dr. Boz interview for an hour and 40 minutes, and it had an hour left, and I had to stop it. So I'm going to have to restart the upload because there's no way. Lindsay, you are here. Hi. Because I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to upload and do this at the same time. And I went, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm just going to, it wouldn't even open Google Chrome. I couldn't even open it. I was like, so then I said, oh, forget it. I'll just start, just start it. Stopped the upload and tried to start Google Chrome. And it just gave me the pinwheel of death. I was like, babe, restart the internet. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Hello from Madisonville, Louisiana. My daughter-in-law's name is Madison, just so you know. Oh, hello from Idaho. Kimmy, we almost moved to Idaho. We were really close to moving to Idaho. We used to go to, oh shoot, what's it called? There's like a big giant indoor water park and a ski mountain area, and no, it's like Silver Mountain or Silver Mist or something like that. I can't remember. It sounds like you won't have time to upload it before the meeting either. I know. Like, this is why you made it. I'm so happy to have you here, Lindsay. Lindsay, you should tell me what you said, and then I can tell everyone what I said, and then we can talk about it if you want to do that. Yeah, it's gonna. Oh, also from Louisiana, I got two. Are you guys drowning yet? Please don't drown, because the water. I was watching Ryan Hall, y'all. Every time he comes out with anything new, I'm like on it, because I'm watching for severe storms and stuff, and it's all on the east side of the Mississippi and the Great Lakes, and it's just supposed to get worse and worse and worse. It's like, I don't remember who it was down that far in Louisiana though. We just got to hope that no hurricanes make it down there to you. Okay, so Lindsay says, I'm listening to the summit, and I said, my why doesn't make me cry. It makes me ragey. So I told her, oh, storming. Yep, Karen. There's a lot. Oh, hi, Cassandra. Someone send the rain to South Texas. Oh my gosh, Texas is so hot and so dry. So I told Lindsay, I was like, my why doesn't make me cry either. It makes me ridiculously passionate. So I guess kind of ragey, kind of maybe sorta. Oh, Barb, I was late, honey. You're fine. Normally I get on 30 minutes before and I tell everybody, Annabella, good morning. I tell everyone, hey, I'm going to go live, so that you guys are at least aware, and hopefully YouTube tells you at some point in time. That was my bad. But look what Bella and I were doing. She found a pendant, and so she had me put it on a little string chain, and we were doing that, and she was drawing me pictures. So that's why I was a little bit late. But yeah, my why doesn't make me cry. It makes me passionate. I'm like, my why is because it is a turtle. Turtle power. Right? Oh, from Phoenix. I was from Flagstaff. My little turtle. Isn't that cute? Turtle power. I need to go find an actual chain. So I'll switch between my angel wing and turtle power. That's what I'm gonna do. Turtle power for slow and steady healing. Your salivation brownies got there today. Have you tried them yet, Lisa? I'm on my second cup of coffee. It's just black now. Are they good? Which ones did you get? The turtle herd. I love it. Yeah, in the Dr. Boz one that I just recorded, it's funny because the first half of it, she's like kind of resistant to talking about protein. She even says, I don't answer that question about protein. And then I realized why. Like, there's a very good reason why she doesn't answer that question on protein. Who does she work with? She works with people who came from standard American diet. How much protein do you eat on the standard American diet? A quarter of your plate is supposed to have protein on it, and that's it. Protein is not overconsumed on the standard American diet. And that's why she doesn't deal with it. She doesn't talk about it. And I was like, it like dawned on me in the middle of our interview, because it was like, she's like, I'm not really going to talk about protein. I'm not going to, like, I can tell you some stuff, but it was just like, okay, I'm pulling teeth here. Why am I pulling teeth? And then I realized that's why. So then I told her that I have to address the protein, because my people are being told to eat 2 to 1 protein to fat and like 2 to 3 pounds of protein. Then she was like, oh yeah, no. So then after that, the conversation like totally, it's just really funny because the first half of the Dr. Boz interview, it's kind of like, okay, that's not the answer I'm going for. And she always goes back to carbs. And I'm like, my people laugh at carbs. We're like 20 carbs. I don't get that in a week. And she was like, oh, well, that's good. So it was just, it's really funny. I was going to send it to a couple of my close people. Hi, Thomas. I was going to send it to a couple of my close people and have that. I was going to ask them, like, is it just me, or does it kind of do that where you're like pulling teeth and then, oh, I got it. It was pretty funny. Hi, Tara. I'm having salted caramel keto chow for breakfast. That is my favorite one. That one and the snickerdoodle. One of these days, I will be able to have keto chow again. I am fully believing that I will be healed. Yeah. Elle, I do not envy you being in Phoenix at all. It's too hot. It's just too hot. And they say it's a dry heat. This year has not really been a dry heat. It's been a fairly moist heat. So that is not fair, honestly. It's like, okay, give me the heat or give me the dry. But don't do that. It's just cruel. You don't live in Florida or in Louisiana. Delicious brownies. Got the brownie sampler. Not sure how I deal with the macros, but that dark chocolate brownie was good. Yeah. I was like, I can't. Too danger. Danger. I would be in so much pain. I can't even think of going down the keto chow rabbit hole. I think I would like it too much. Richard and I did that. Like, every time we start to drink it, then we want more and more and more, and it makes my ankles swell. So, not yet. I cannot wait to see the Dr. Boz interview. It's funny. And then she makes a comment about, which I'm not even sure if I'm going to leave it in there because I don't know if people are going to take it in the right context. She makes a comment about, what's it called? Foie gras. It's French. I know I'm saying that wrong. And it's about eating too much fat they overfeed these geese and ducks to give them fatty livers, and they eat them lots of fat. That's what she says in the interview. And I'm like, it's not registering with me. Like, okay, we don't eat fat to get fat. Like, wait, there's a disconnect here. So I went and I researched it. It's different. They force feed, overfeed these geese and these ducks. And like with a tube. And it doesn't say what they feed them. And so I'm like, okay, if we say that if you eat too much fat, you're going to get a fatty liver, everyone's going to be like, forget it. I'm done with the fat. I'm not doing this. So I was like, we're going to have to, and that's my thing. They're fed grains. So my guess is that they're feeding them grains, which of course is raising their insulin and then allowing their cells to store stuff. And then they're shoving in a whole bunch of fat. And when your insulin is up, you store, which is why you're never supposed to eat carbs and fat together, because the carbs open up the cells in storage mode, one-way door, and then the fat pours in. That's why you're not supposed to do that. You know, it's one or the other. So I was like, I am not sure. I think I might cut that part out and then do a whole nother video on just that one section. And, you know, this is what she said, but this is what actually happens. And the term, if you look it up, so if you look it up, Frogwa, I said goose liver F, because I didn't know how to spell it. It's French. And it popped up. And I was like, thank you. That one. So I looked at it. Hi, Keto Mama. And I was looking at it on Wikipedia. So, you know, as trustworthy as that is. And they said that they overfeed them using Gravas. And it's highlighted. So I clicked on it. And they show how they overfeed people. It's not like I'm craving fat and I need to eat some more fat to get satiated, or I'm craving protein and I need to eat some protein and get satiated. This is, I'm full, I don't want to eat anymore. And then you force more. This is overfeeding. This is, well, you know, I'm comfortable at 1,500, 1,800, 2,000 calories a day, but then you're being told, no, you have to get up to 4,000 calories a day. It's actually, there's actually a term for it, Gravas, if I'm probably not even saying that right. But I was like, yeah, that is not the same thing as they fed them fat to get fat. And like you said, yes, it's the grains, Tara, that all birds eat grains. And I don't think it's proper for them. I don't think that they're supposed to eat grains, which is why they poop so much. Because when we stop eating what we're not supposed to eat, we don't poop as much. I think that they're supposed to be on bugs and they're supposed to be on fresh plants and produce. I mean, if they find grains out there, then sure, but we focus so much only on the grain for the chicken. I don't think that it's proper. I think that they really should have a lot more, like my emus. An emu's natural habitat diet is fruit and bugs. I don't feed my emus fruit and bugs because they don't make a fruit and bug blend for emus that is not $87,000 for a bag. So they get the same crap that the chickens get. And let me tell you, emus can poop like elephants, which tells me that they're not eating. Okay, so the S is silent. Thank you, Lindsay. I should have known that you would know that. But which tells me that they're not eating the proper diet. They're supposed to have plants and bugs. I don't have enough bugs here. So, but yeah. So I might like pull that section out so that I can do an entire talk on this and say, okay, this is what she said, and this is what people hear, but this is what actually happened. So I was going to do some more research on that method of fattening up the geese so that I can put everybody at ease. And yes, the Randall cycle, Barb. Yeah, look up the Randall cycle, explains why no carbs and fat should be eaten together, which is why donuts are so bad, so dangerous. All of those pastries, because they're fats and carbs together. The carbs open up the cells, one-way door in. We need to create the rotating door cell so the nutrients can come in and the fat can go out. We haven't done that yet. It's always amazing talking to Dr. Boz. I love talking to her. She's so knowledgeable and so much fun, and I just absolutely adore her. Oh, you're suffering from keto rash. That is miserable. You had some keto donuts 2 days ago. So evil. Danger, danger, danger. Because your brain doesn't always know, is it real sugar or is it a fake sugar? Does it matter? It's still going to raise your insulin. It's terrible. Laura, you're suffering from keto rash. What are you eating? Where'd you come from? I guess would be a better question. I love your butterfly keto mama. Good evil Amy. Right? Annabella said I had to do the force feeding last year in my recovery. Yeah, no, it's on another level. It's kind of keto to carnivore. You are oxalate dumping. That is what you are doing. I was wondering. I was like, what you doing? Yeah, that's oxalate dumping. And to slow that down, oh yeah, that's exactly what that is. To slow that down, I would say bring in like black tea. You could drink a cup or two of black tea every day. That's got enough oxalates that it'll slow it down. You could do cinnamon. You could do, hi, Julia. You could do black pepper, any of the spicier peppers and stuff. They have more oxalates in them, but that will, that'll help. Cause yeah, you stopped giving your body oxalates and it said, oh, good, you're not going to give us any more poison, then we're going to get rid of all of it. Drink lemon water and make sure you eat a lot of calcium. That will help because calcium binds to oxalate. So instead of shoving it out through your skin, it will bind to what you're eating. Yeah, so that will help. But the lemon water makes a huge difference because the lemon actually rounds out the edges of the oxalates so that as they are being excreted, they're not as terrible. Because I'm sorry, honey. And sometimes you get that rash in very inappropriate places. So I'll just leave that. Just remember, oxalates collect and congregate where there's lots of blood flow. So be forewarned. Teeth, gums, eyes, heads, and other places. So some people have had that in inappropriate places and they have freaked out and they go to the doctor and the doctor's like, I don't know, it's a rash. Here's some cream. And it's the oxalates. Sometimes you'll get like a pocket, a buildup. Y'all, until you've had a run-in with oxalates, it's just terrible. So Julia, I was just telling everyone, you'll have to watch the very beginning of this. I was telling everyone about the interview. It was hilarious. It was really funny. The first half of it was like pulling teeth. I'm like, talk about protein. She's like, I don't talk about protein. I'm like, but you need to talk about protein. She's like, I don't talk about protein. I'm like, but I need you to talk about protein. It was really, really funny. And then finally, she was like, no. And so I said, okay, I have to talk about protein. Like I have to approach it from that because my people are being told 2-to-1 protein to fat ratio and 2 to 3 pounds of meat. And she was like, oh no. And I was like, that's why I want to talk about protein. And then after that, it was all like, okay, yes. No. And for everyone who's just getting on, I understand why she doesn't talk about protein. Like it's a hot topic. It really is. And all of her people are coming from standard American diet. How much protein do you eat on a standard American diet? A quarter of your plate has protein on it. That's it. Most of them are already in the right protein sphere. Like they're fine. We are different. We went extra with our carnivore ways with the super high protein. So once we once there was like that understanding, I mean, it's literally like 20 or 30 minutes into the interview before she's like, oh no. So it was hilarious. I started the Dr. Boz way of eating on Tuesday. My stomach has been upset after every meal, but my ratio has gone from 320 to 58. That is awesome. I can understand your stomach being upset. Chances are you were low fat before or lower fat. And fat takes a lot of stomach acid to help it break down. The bile helps it once it's in your intestines, but the stomach acid has to break it up. And when you start the high fat, you overwhelm your stomach with fat, and that lowers the pH of your stomach because there's so much of it. So for some people, it's better to do the smaller meals spaced out throughout the day rather than one giant amount or two giant amounts of fat all at once, because it's just too much for your stomach to be able to handle. You can add digestive enzymes if you wanted to. You could try apple cider vinegar. My husband, his favorite drink ever, it's like a hard apple cider. You can do, Lindsay actually doesn't have a gallbladder, Rita, by the way. He does 1 can of sparkling water. He does the lime flavored sparkling water. And then he adds 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar to that. He does his iodine in that, and then usually a little packet of unflavored electrolytes. And he will drink that before he eats his meal, like 20 minutes before he eats his meal, because the acid in the apple cider vinegar helps to boost the acid in your stomach, so that if you're having anything like the undigested, I did the same thing. When I went to the higher fat, I would eat and I was like, I don't feel so good. Like, I don't feel good. So it will eventually, fix. Your body will learn how to make more acid, because now you need it. If you're digesting fat and you're digesting protein and not a whole lot else, you need the higher amounts of stomach acid. It just takes our body's chemistry a little bit of time to be able to, so drink it beforehand. It'll help. Absolutely. It'll help with digestion. But if you drink it beforehand, it may bump up your digestive ability even better. Okay. I'm going to go back up there. I'm working on getting my eating window down to 8 hours or less right now. Yep. Sounds like you're moving up the continuum. Are you having a problem with your numbers, Suzanne? Let me see. Oh, Laura, your legs. Mine was my back and my butt. Yeah, Lindsay says no gallbladder. Using ox bile helps when you're transitioning to high fat. I don't need it anymore, but years ago I did use it. So your gallbladder, it has one purpose. It's a purse. That's it. It just stores your bile. Your liver actually makes the bile. So it just keeps putting it into this purse. And then when you eat a high fat meal, the purse explodes and it sends out all the bile. So once your gallbladder has been removed, your liver has to be trained to store up the bile. It has to learn, okay, now I'm going to hold back. I'm going to make it, but I'm going to hold it back. And then when it's needed, it can squeeze it out. It just takes a little bit of time to train it to do that. Oh, Lisa says she doesn't have a gallbladder either. No issues with high fat. It just takes time for your body to learn new tricks, because that happens. Let me see. I tried a can of sardines with True Lemon today and it wasn't bad. The smell wasn't as strong as tuna. It's not. It's actually, especially if you get the stuff in oil, it's not as strong as tuna. It's hilarious. Sounds like your body's not adapting to the process of fat yet. It just takes time. I have a challenge next week. My son is getting married next week and we'll be up in Big Bear. I can't even imagine breaking my diet, since I just feel awful if I do. So Barb, if you have the ability to take food with you, it will make it easier. I would make a bajillion waffles or pancakes if you don't want to use the waffle maker. It's hard to travel with this way of eating, because when you're higher protein, you can just go anywhere and get anything. But fat is a whole different ball game. So I'm not sure how you're eating, if you're keto or if you're carnivore, if you're dairy or if you're dairy free, egg free, all of that. There are ways to eat out at certain places. Honestly, I got to the point where I just start taking a stick of butter with me because I have to have the fat. So the leftover egg yolk waffles, you can keep them in the fridge for a couple of days or put them in the freezer. And then a lot of people said that they don't care for them reheated in a toaster. It dries them out too much. So they do it 30 seconds at 50% power in the microwave. Some people do it in the toaster oven. That seems to be better than a regular toaster. I don't know, more humid, something like that. So I would take a bunch of those. Make sure that you take your mayonnaise. If you can do cheese, take your cheese slices along with you. Take hard-boiled eggs and, just eat the yolk. Things like that. When you're traveling, it is easier if you can do like Chipotle because it's a lot of dairy, but it's one of the only ways to get the fat in. Of course, you can always do your can of sardines, eat that. But yeah, it's tough. When we went to my son's wedding, I literally took an entire cooler with us to the reception. And we pulled out of it. I did salami and cheese or pepperoni. It was not super clean. Spam. But I got to eat. I got to be with everybody. And it worked out great. So it is possible. Hopefully you will find exactly what you need. So have you heard of any connection between, I don't even know what that is, and the CREST syndrome and keto being able to remove the calcium deposits? I have not done a whole lot of research into all of the things that keto can remove and reverse. I would say look into Dom D'Agostino. He talks a lot about what ketosis can do, and he goes really into the scientific and medical aspect of it. He's actually one of the ones that first influenced Dr. Boz. So Dom D'Agostino is where I would start to look for something like that. I'm returning my olive oil sardines, going to try the water ones. I'm thinking my body doesn't like the oil because I'm getting inflamed issues. Yep. Some people can handle the oil. Some people can't. It absolutely is based on every single person. It took me 2 to 3 weeks to adjust to high fat. There were some close calls. Yeah, that's funny. Let me see. HCL can help with low stomach acid. I went through that after going from SAD to carnivore. Whoop, and it jumped. Hi, Archangel. Let me see. Okay, there we go. I have these headaches that don't go away with magnesium or salt or water. I'm running out of ideas. Let me see. How much magnesium are you on? Oh, yeah, that's true. The bile will be reabsorbed in your body if you don't need it, if you don't use it. Keep using it. Use it a lot in the beginning. Let me see. I'm trying to think. Ketosis generally deals with the headaches. I wonder if headaches could be potassium too on some level. Yeah, how much magnesium are you taking? 1 tablet a day? Girl, that's not a lot. I'm at 4 tablets a day. I'm at 400 milligrams. Could be lack of salt. I'm at 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate. I do the magnesium tallow lotion that I made on my calves at night. I do the Epsom salt bath. It's not as much as it was before. It's like 1 bath a week right now because I'm not sure if that messed up my septic system or what. So every night I take my magnesium. If I don't, I will be up in the middle of the night dancing around screaming because of my leg cramps. And it totally, yeah, I was going to say maybe balancing the magnesium with potassium, but only 1 capsule of magnesium. that would not be nearly enough for honestly most people. I know some people who are up to 800 milligrams of magnesium glycinate before they find the relief. Oh, your wife gets bad. I had the worst leg cramp ever. I echoed you. Yes, of course. Great minds think alike. I had the worst leg cramp ever the other day. Holy cow. Like, I was screaming. It was so bad. I have never had one that bad before. And you know what stopped it? Pickle juice. I remembered Blaze's voice from the Mighty Network. Pickle juice, pickle juice. And I literally like screamed. My husband was trying to like massage my leg. Thank goodness he was home and not working that night. And so I like screamed pickle juice. And he ran downstairs and grabbed the pickle juice and ran upstairs and gave it to me. I'm just like drinking out of the pickle jar. It took about 45 seconds and it stopped. And that's when I realized, oh, I'm not eating nearly as much salt. Pickle juice has a lot of sodium in it as I was because I've reduced my amount of protein. Yep. So it just takes forever. It's a high interest savings account and good old gallbladder. I love it. Not too bad. My fasting insulin was 2.7 on my last lab test. I was eating too close to bed and it affects my morning blood work. Yes. Dr. Boz's whole continuums, they all end up eat in the daylight hours, eat closer to sunrise, eat, because that's when your body is the most active. So it makes sense to feed it then. How do you store leftover egg yolk waffles? I already answered that one. I saw that one a minute ago. I have sardines in my pantry. I haven't found the courage to try them or eat them. Don't worry, one of my best friends can't either. She's like, I've been trying for days and I can't do it. Chicken, do it, girl. If doing carnivore meat bars are easy to take, oh yeah. The carnivore meat bars, thank you, Archangel. That's perfect. So jerky sticks, the dehydrated, the lap steak, anything like that, and then dip it in fat. Dip it in butter. Dip it in, if you can do cheese sauce, do a cheese sauce. If you could do cream cheese, do cream cheese. Any type of fat. Yeah, you're probably going to go over on your protein, but that's okay. And then just whatever protein you have, find a way to add a bunch of fat to it, and that'll help quite a bit. Chai tea for rash. Chai tea will work because it's actually extremely high in oxalates as well. Hard-boiled eggs and purse bacon during a camping trip. Yeah, the hardest part is just upping the fat without going over on your protein. I'm carnivore and there will be lots of meat available. When you're in charge of breakfast, it's more the alcohol. I really don't want to have any. Okay, so a couple options. I don't have my cards. Good idea is a sparkling water that is phenomenal. Like, it is so good, and it actually helps to boost your ability to deal with bad blood sugars and things like that. It's got amino acids in it. So Good Idea is the name of that. I need to contact them because I'm waiting on my affiliate code and I don't have it yet. So Good Idea. And then you could also do I think it's R13 is the company name. And he has hard ketones. Like, he makes a ketogenic beer. It's hard ketones. You could order some of that. Hopefully, maybe it'll be there in time. And then take that with you so that you are still participating. You're still doing that. But you don't get kicked out of ketosis. Yeah. So I totally forgot about that. I keep meaning to let people know about that. But yeah, if you can take your fat with you, if you can do the egg yolks, I know as crazy as it is, egg yolks, cheese, all that kind of stuff. Whoop, and it jumped. There we go. Yeah, Archangel. Oh, it was bad. I was very diligent in making sure that I drank electrolytes during the day, an electrolyte blend, and then taking my pills at night. I actually upped to, CTAR is at 700 milligrams. Pickle juice. Thank you, Blaze. You saved my life, or my husband's life, maybe, possibly. I have to add even more magnesium before I go to my water aerobics. Yeah, like a lot. I supplement about 2,000 milligrams of magnesium. That's because Lindsay is extra when I'm on top of my game, and that's after electrolytes. I love my Lindsay. I take 700 milligrams a day of magnesium too, plus magnesium from Keto Chow. Yeah, a lot of magnesium. A lot. I bet you it's probably still the magnesium. Pickle juice is the immediate answer. People told me mustard. One, I hate mustard with a passion, and I can do it a little bit, but not a ton bit. And it never worked. I could not swallow enough to get the cramps to stop. So the pickle juice was phenomenal. Annabella stores the leftover waffles in her tummy. I think that's brilliant. I love it. Y'all like my Mad Hatter hair today? It's just like, it's crazy. I did not do my hair. I just threw this thing on, and it's just been kind of a relaxed, chill day with my baby girl downstairs. There, I could pull this stuff back so it's not so bad. Let me see. Where do I get that amount of pickle juice? We have a lot of kids that like pickles. So I literally had like 5 jars of pickle juice. And I think Blaze, if hasn't already said it. Yeah. Some grocery stores just sell pickle juice. You can actually get like little shots of pickle juice. Blaze actually keeps it, I think, by her bed. Hi, Suzanne from California. Yeah, I get soft stools with too much magnesium, but my potassium is low, and so is my sodium. Electrolytes are a balance. So I'm always like, start with your magnesium and get a decent amount in there. And then if that doesn't work, let's add some other stuff, work on some other things as well, because I fell out. It's a balance. And like, I have high potassium, which is why every time I try to eat an avocado, it makes my heart race and my ankles blow up, because I have high potassium. Let me see. I already read that one. Don't read that one again, Amy. Since going carnivore, I sleep all night. Oh, that's awesome. I love those non-scale victories. Like, those are sometimes the best. We all think it's all about weight loss. It is not all about weight loss. It's really not. I did call you a chicken girl. What are you going to do about it? You're going to come over here and kick my butt? We had this conversation earlier. Academy also has pickle juice shots. My fat bombs. I'm glad you like my fat bombs. Oh, y'all. Hi, Marina. I made more fat bombs and I accidentally used the wrong butter. I used the salted butter. They're funky. I don't like it. Bye, Barb. Good luck at your appointment. Speaking of appointments, guess what? At the end of August, I get to flip straight over to the GI doctor because they messed up and they did not give us the right insurance plan. So we have a PPO. So now I can skip the primary care doctor and go straight to the gastroenterologist. Yeah, fantastic. Hi from South Africa. Hi, Shelly. My daughter just started carnivore and sometimes has a runny tummy. Is it too much fat, not enough stomach acid? There's a lot of reasons that could happen. Probably her gut bugs are pitching a fit because they're not used to only meat and animal-based products. They are used to plants and fiber and other things. So when you don't give them that, you can begin to have a die-off of all of the bacteria, the good bacteria that's living in your stomach, and they only have one way to go. So they die, and then they go out the rear end. It can be that. They could be pitching a fit, telling you, hey, I want something else, because that's actually a lot of our cravings can come from our gut bugs. So that is also a possibility. It could be too much fat. Ironically, I was talking to someone earlier today, and she said she was having the runs, and she assumed it was the higher fat. She backed off the protein, and all of her stools firmed up with the higher fat and even lower protein. So she was completely blown away. So there's a lot of things that it could be. It could have just been the shift, how fast it went. Most of the time it'll go away in a few days to weeks. if it's too long, you actually can take Imodium. You can have your daughter take Imodium if she's old enough. Then she could take Imodium for a little while. There's also a trick you could do with chia seeds because it's fiber, but it's very rarely broken down. And I'm not a huge fan of chia seeds because they're so estrogenic. But if you're only using them for a time and as a tool, then I think it's okay to do. You would take chia seeds every like hour or so, a tablespoon of them every hour until you get relief. And then the next day, however many tablespoons you took the day before, you would take like half of it in the morning and half of it in the afternoon. You can swallow them really fast because they swell up in water, or you can chew them, probably add them to some kind of like carnivore pudding or something, scrambled eggs. They'll puff up a little bit. They're a little funky, but that will teach your bowels that, hey, you're not going to get a whole bunch of fiber anymore. So hold on to some of that until you can compact it, excrete some of the water from it, keep the crap in there, and then start passing it when it's not all runny and nasty. Oh, it jumped. Let me see. All right, I'll drink pickle juice now. Go drink the pickle juice. Yeah, you can just do salt. I just can't do that much salt. It upsets my stomach, but I can do pickle juice. So bizarre. I don't know. Oh, she has to taste test food at work. Oh, that's terrible. But when she doesn't test it, and as other people taste test, she feels better. That's so hard. Oh, yeah. I know. I was cooking for the hunters last year, and I had to have my kids taste it. I was like, okay, big girl, come here, come taste this. How do the enchiladas taste? How does the rice taste? How does the everything taste? Because I couldn't taste it. I was like, I will die if I taste this. And my kids were like, oh yeah, it's really good. Or, nah, it needs a little bit more. So my kids learned culinary tricks and things like that because they had to tell me if it tasted good or not. Her management doesn't understand she can't have the old food anymore. It's so hard. It's just so hard. Someone did bottle it. They're so good. What would be causing the sensation of chest bone hurting or feeling like it needs to pop or crack? It could be your digestion. You could be trapping gas and the fat begins to kind of build up a little bit. I'm guessing that's what it is. Or sometimes I'll get that really sharp like rib pain. That's actually your rib twisting. Your muscles are actually like twisting your rib and it hurts. That is most likely an electrolyte imbalance and or the indigestion because your stomach isn't acidic enough to be able to handle what you're doing to it now. So those would be my two guesses. Those are my first two immediate guesses. How do I know I have high potassium? On my blood test results. And let me tell you guys, electrolytes are not very accurate in blood tests. A hair and mineral test would be much more accurate for looking at your electrolyte supplementation. But my potassium always comes back high. And that's in my blood serum. So it kind of makes you go, okay, if it's high, like if it's normal, you want it to be normal or you die. But if it's high, then it makes you go, And what's funny, my dad is actually allergic to avocados. And if he gets too much potassium, he ends up having a really hard time. So at least I think. I'm 90% sure that's what it is. I know he can't do avocados. Seems like my grandma couldn't do spinach. I can't remember. It's been a minute. By the way, I recommended iodine to someone, and she told me today she's sleeping like the dead and her skin is healing, cysts are going away. That's amazing. Speaking of iodine, I did mention to Dr. Boz, because she said, I sent her my list of questions, and I said, iodine, I want to share my story with you. And she said, maybe we can get to iodine. We'll see about it. And I said, no. I wanted to share my experience with you. And she was like, oh, okay. And so I told her, I was like, this is the dose that I'm taking, which I'm actually starting to reduce it a little bit. And I'm still getting the same effect. So I think maybe I am reaching saturation levels. Yeah. So I'm going to reduce it a little bit. Um, so I told her, I was like, this is my dose that I'm taking. And she was like, really? And I said, yeah. I said, it's changed so much. I said, everything that, from the sleep to the mental clarity to the less pain and all of that, I said, it like made such a huge difference. And so I asked her, I was like, have you ever read or heard of the book, The Iodine Crisis? She was like, no. So I showed her the book and I said, it's on Audible, an hour or 1.5 speed. It's like 4.5 hours. And she goes, that was my next question. And I said, yes. So I said, it might be, just kind of interesting for you. I said, I work with a lot of people who have found amazing benefits from it. So I wanted to let you know. And she was like, okay, thank you. So I told her about it. So now what she does with it, hopefully she'll, find some really good information about that. I hope it'll go well for you, Amy, when you see the doctor. Me too. I don't think I still have the blood in my stool. I could be totally wrong, but I don't think I do. So maybe it was just like the H. pylori was being pissy. That kind of hurts a little bit though. That like at the top of my stomach, I'll get like the burning a little bit and I'll feel kind of nauseous. So yeah, I'm going to go see them. And then we have decisions to make because the functional route is definitely going to be way more expensive. And I straight up do not have the money for that. Like our financial situation is interesting right now, to say the least. I'm not worried about it, but I can't really spend thousands on functional medicine. So we're going to have to make some decisions on what we do. And I'm believing that being in ketosis is going to help tremendously. And so we're going to see. We're going to see what decisions we make and what happens and what the doctor says. My gut bugs left the house. Yes, exactly. Imodium was a godsend for me. It helped me to be more normal. Yeah, it's a tool. Imodium's not terrible. Use it for a little while. Anyone taking the iodine the companion nutrients. I hate the niacin flushing. Oh my gosh, you're not the only one. There's people that are messaging me about the niacin flushing. They're like, this is intense, like a sauna without the sauna. And when you know it's coming, then it's easier to handle, but you feel so nasty. I have not done the niacin at all. I'm like, I have enough going on. I don't need to add that. I really don't. So I am not going to piss my body off right now. I'm just going to take that. Lisa says that vitamin C and E helps to reduce the niacin flush. I ain't touching it. I have got enough. I'm done. The hardest part about cooking for non-keto family is I can't sample the food. I know. It's, yeah, which is, for me, it's a blessing because most of my family is low carb. At least I do let them have rice. I cannot afford to feed all of these children low carb. So they get rice. I figure if Sally Norton can handle rice, it's the lesser of some evils. So they get white rice that's been pressure cooked with avocado oil, ironically. Yeah. Under 20 carbs for 3 months. Congratulations. High fat, lower protein for a couple of weeks. Ketones show as 0.3, not losing any weight, and blood sugar is still high. What are your macros set to? Robin, that would be my question. Is how much fat, how much protein? You told me the carbs, so that's good. But for most people, that's where the magic happens. And I, in the interview with Dr. Vaz, she was like, yeah, I usually don't touch macros. I'm like, we're different. We kind of have to deal with the macros. And so then when I told her, then we get this all figured out, and she was like, oh yeah. She was like, you could always just shorten the eating window. My only concern with that is a lot of people who are on carnivore come from eating disorders. So for them, shorten the eating window is, I can just eat less and less and less. Not when you come from an anorexic or a bulimic background. That is not a good idea. So it depends on the person. You can get yourself into an eating window. I prefer the approach of starting with the macros first, because across the board, goodness, we have got amazing numbers for 90% of the people who are doing this. And they're doing this, and it's been like 2 months for them, and they've got incredible numbers still. And I actually told her about my numbers, and she was like, I'm jealous of your numbers. She goes, I can't believe that your numbers are that good 9.5 weeks in. She was like, ride the wave, don't change a thing until your body tells you to. Because I told her, I said, I'm going to continue. I'm number 1. I said, I have a fatty coffee, and then I have another fatty coffee, and then I have lunch, and then I have dinner, and then maybe I have a fatty tea. She was like, and those are your numbers? Yep, those are my numbers. She was like, don't change it. She's like, I would go back to that if I could. So maybe we're onto something. I think we might have found a magic recipe. I've often wondered if the blood test is high, are we not absorbing the nutrient? I don't know, because whenever I take potassium, if I eat like the new salt or low salt or whatever it's called, or an avocado, my heart is absolutely pounding in my chest. My ankles swell up. I get a headache. I get swelling. Like it's ugly. So I have no idea. Here, the hardest part is that they think that they should sample the food. Just a taste won't hurt, right? Then you look at them and say, do you offer beer to an alcoholic, and say just 1 sip won't hurt? Because alcohol damages them the same way that sugar and carbs damage me. But thank you for respecting my boundaries. Eating this way is delicious, but sometimes the food gets hard to swallow, like getting stuck in my throat. Slow to move and sometimes painful. Happens a lot with eggs. How are you eating, Lori? Are you just carnivore, or are you doing the high fat, moderate protein? Because that is what happened to me when I was eating too much protein. My body was trying to tell me to stop, and I did not listen. And I ended up barely being able to swallow like 500 calories a day, because I was focused so much on protein and not on fat. My body, it was bad. It was very bad. So that's my question is, how are you eating? Is it just carnivore, or is it the high fat, moderate protein? There's a lot of variation in potassium depending on the venipuncture technique also. Very true. It absolutely could change a lot. Oh, I'm almost done. Day 52 today of carnivore. Woo-hoo! I recently made the decision to cut out the brats, thinking they were causing me issues. So more beef instead. It's a journey. Like, it's one little adjustment after the other. I don't know that we will ever fully arrive. One step at a time. Jump. It jumped. Let me see. How many electrolytes should you have? It depends. I need Myrick. Myric's not here. I need my sign. It depends. Every person is absolutely different. Some people do fine with no electrolytes whatsoever, and there's other people that have to have like 5 or 6 servings a day. So your body's chemistry is all that matters, and figuring out what's going to work for you is your goal, because there is absolutely no answer to that. If you talk to the really intense carnivores, they're going to tell you nobody needs any electrolytes. I beg to differ, because if we're looking at Paleolithic man, one, they were eating animals that were on nutrient soil land, and they were drinking out of streams and creeks, and then they were eating the meat that was full of all of those nutrients, and they would drink the blood too. And they would eat the organs, which would have a lot more of those electrolytes and nutrients in them. We don't have that luxury because our land is so depleted. It's absolutely horrible. Our water has been stripped of everything. Our livestock's water has been stripped of so many things. And we don't drink the blood. So we don't get a lot of those electrolytes, and we have to replace them. Being low carb, we don't retain our electrolytes either, because electrolytes are stored in water in the body. And when you're low carb, you flush a lot of that water. So you don't store nearly as many of them. I'm on 3 grams a day of niacin and no more flesh. Had to work up to it, reducing total cholesterol, but not HDL. That's awesome. Let me see. I'm in Texas too. Probably depends on how much. Yeah. How much are you sweating? What do you do for constipation on the iodine? Milk of magnesia. I saw Julia said that. Yep. Milk of magnesia. Absolutely fantastic because it's giving you really good needed magnesium and salt, and then also helping to relieve your constipation. You can just carnivore. Okay. That's, it sounds like you're doing the exact same thing as me, Lori. Like exact same thing as me. I was trying to eat 1 pound to 2 pounds of meat a day. And with like butter, unsalted Kerrygold butter, my body did not want that much protein, and I misinterpreted it for just a meat aversion, and maybe I'm having allergies or something like that. Now that I look back, and I'm doing so much better on the high fat. Like I can eat 1,500, 2,000 calories a day of the high fat and not ever get that sensation of not being able to swallow. So my suggestion would be to cut back a little bit on the protein and start upping the fat. So you could do egg yolks for dipping any of your meat in. You can do a combination of melted butter and egg yolks where the butter isn't like super hot so it doesn't cook the egg yolks. You could just dip in butter. You can add butter to absolutely everything. If you can do dairy, you could add a little bit of dairy to everything. My egg yolk waffles are absolutely fantastic. It's egg yolks and butter. You don't have to do the baking powder at all. You can leave that part out and they still make fantastic vehicles to get food into your face, and they're very high fat. You could also look at potentially doing mayonnaise. You could do like bacon grease mayonnaise or butter mayonnaise. There's recipes out there for that. And that would help to up your fat intake as well. Aioli sauce, hollandaise sauce, like all of those things are really good ideas. So that, I bet you are eating too much protein. I know it sounds crazy and counterintuitive. We're doing a workshop right now. There's one more day of the workshop. And then next week, Emily Penton and I are going to do a live Q&A, just the two of us. We're going to answer all of the questions that everyone has put into the Facebook group. Tomorrow is the last day of the workshop, and we're going to be talking a lot more about the problems that you run into when you are high fat, moderate protein, and the potholes on your journey. So anyone who wants that, I will fix this afterwards and I will put the link down below. It'll say Beyond Carnivore Workshop, and it's free for you guys if you use the link. So you can go and register for that. But that is exactly what I did. I couldn't swallow it anymore. I really think there's a reason that I had the meat aversion. My body was like, too much, too much, too much. And then my blood sugar got up to like 118 after that. And now it is magically reduced. Robin, jumped. Come back. Nope. Are you doing any keto products? Sometimes they will have hidden ingredients that will spike your blood sugar. Yeah, they very well might. Eating regularly is really important in recovery from an eating disorder. For me, if I go too long without eating, I just forget. An accidental restriction begins. That's why I told Dr. Boz, that's why I tell everybody, I am technically eating 5 times a day, if not more than that. And what I'm eating is not spiking my insulin personally. That's one of the things that we talk about in the interview. I started with 50 milligrams 6 times a day. And then, still talking about the niacin. Have you found that you can go higher in protein and still be in deep ketosis? It depends. It depends on the day. There are some days that I want higher protein. And I think, I'm just not going to be in ketosis for the day. And that's fine because I know, like I have this internal knowing I need more protein. It's not that I want more protein. Oh, that just sounds so good. I need it. So I will go ahead and I will eat it. And it'll be like 90 grams of protein, which for me is ridiculously high. And I'm like, well, in the morning, my numbers are just going to suck. Oh, well, but I'll take them anyways. And on those days that I have that feeling, my numbers are phenomenal, which tells me that my body truly needed that much protein. And the way that I explain this, it's going to be, I'm going to miss some questions now because it's just jumping. The way that I explain this is we truly do not know how much fat, how much protein, how many calories, anything that our body needs. It will never need carbs. I can tell you that right now. It will never need carbs, but it needs protein and it needs fat. But we do not know how much we need. And there is no formula, there is no TDEE that can tell you what that number is. And in Dr. Boz's book, Any Way You Can, she actually goes through that and she explains all of the different things that can be going on that can affect how much we need in a day. Autoimmune conditions take more energy to fight than a healthier person. Cancer obviously takes more energy to fight than another healthier person. What if you don't know? I didn't know I had autoimmune conditions. I didn't know. What about people who they end up for the very first time getting diagnosed with stage 4 cancer? That's been there a while. That's been there for a long time, and they didn't find out until just then. Your body's been trying to fight. If it's doing something and we are limiting ourselves to only our TDEE or whatever we think it's going to be, then your body has to lower down all the other metabolic processes to be able to fight this if we're not giving it enough. What's really, really cool about being in ketosis is that you hear your body so much better. And you're able to determine, I really need more protein today. So the way that I like to explain this is, let's say that your body is in a deep state of autophagy and it's doing really good and it's recycling proteins, it's recycling all of this stuff, which is one of the reasons you don't need to eat as much as we think we do because we're recycling it. And it gets 75 units of protein that it is going to be able to rebuild and redo something with. But it still needs 25 units. And it's already done all of the autophagy that it can. Those 25 units have to come from your diet. Well, if you need, 50 units every single day, and then you still need these 25, it's never going to get done. You're not going to be able to rebuild these processes. We have no meter. We have no meter that's going to tell us exactly how much protein we are lacking or how much fat we're lacking. So going by your signals once you get into ketosis has been totally different, completely different. And I can tell when I need more protein. So when I feel like I really need that protein, I think it's my body saying, hey, I want to build something new. Gimme, gimme, gimme. So some days I'll have 1,400 calories and I'm like, I don't want anything else. And then other days I'm like, I need 2,200 calories because I just feel it. So it's really cool once you get your body uninflamed and it begins to communicate with you, then you have a much better chance of actually knowing what you need. Because I have several people that are trying a little bit of a experiment where we're over consuming our fat. Like if I want it, I'm going to eat it. My TDEE says 1,800 calories. And I'm like, well, I'm going to push it to 22 if I feel like it, and I'll go up to 2,200 calories. And I'm like, okay, I'm so full. I don't want anything else. And then the next day, I am completely off put by food. I don't want any food at all. We aren't gaining weight, even a little bit. We're losing weight. When we eat over what we think we should be eating, almost every one of us has lost weight. So I don't know if it's just that it takes that much energy to turn fat into ketones, and that's what makes us lose weight. I can't explain it. I do not know the science behind it, but I don't know. So that's what I have found absolutely interesting. Ford, you made it. Metformin can be a very horrible drug for some people. And for some people, it can be life-saving. Oh, I wanted to see if it helped with weight loss. Yeah, there we go. For some people, metformin is not good, but for some people, if it means the difference between your pancreas shutting down because it's overproducing insulin constantly and your cells actually being receptive to insulin, I would rather you take the metformin than become a type 1. But it's an individual case-by-case basis. They were actually looking at using metformin for a bunch of other stuff. It's like chemotherapy. There's a lot of people who are very anti-chemotherapy. I know some people who have been saved. Their lives are honestly the only reason they're alive is because of chemo. So I think that there is a time and a place for absolutely everything. The only thing metformin did for me was run to the restroom. Made you exercise. That's what it did. Yeah, that's great. No, it's not a good fit for you. Absolutely. Anything does not have to be ordered. Horrible to take something that makes you feel bad. Yes. Oh, BAF. I'm sorry. Makes you feel BAF. Don't you love the way that my brain just automatically fixes it? Let me see. I'm trying to see. Someone said something about cholesterol. So question is, which cholesterol are you reducing, Lisa? Okay, protein 25%, 70 fat, and carbs 5%. I feel a whole lot better, and a lot of my people feel better with the higher fat. That it's absolutely crazy, but it has been making a huge difference for a lot of people. My favorite thing when standing solid in my boundaries is when others get offended. Man, have we offended some people, Lindsay. I don't even know if you're still here. That was a little while ago. Years ago, I was at the Hilton for my parents' wedding anniversary. I ate a ton of tiny desserts full of fat and never gained weight, and it made my skin beautiful. I love that. That's awesome. And some people are like, no, it'll catch up with you. I'm listening to my body at this point in time. I am not going off of a formula. I am not a mathematician or a statistician either. So I'm going to go with what my body tells me because it has not let me down yet. It's been communicating me the whole time, and I didn't know how to listen. And now I think I understand how to listen to my body, and I think it's an absolutely beautiful thing. I'm like, oh, thank you. You've been talking to me the whole time, and I didn't understand. I think meat aversion, there's a reason. I think a lot of stuff. And the people who get diarrhea or constipation from whichever way you are eating, I don't think that that's your body talking to you. I think that you probably need it more than most people if that is the reaction that you get. Because if you get especially diarrhea from like a high fat way of eating, that means that you're not absorbing hardly any of your nutrients. And if you get tested, I bet you your vitamin D and your B vitamins are all going to be low because you're not absorbing them. And probably your iron and possibly your ferritin too. See, I'm working on, it's getting smaller. See, I've got this extra skin here. It is getting smaller. So I think that's what my body's doing right now is the autophagy. I think that it's tightening up my skin and it's shrinking that up. I will let it take as long as it wants to do that. Tighten up the skin, baby. Because like my turkey neck, you guys can't see it a whole lot, but I got like the little turkey neck. We'll see if it goes away. I only had breakfast yesterday because my body told me no food. Yes, 100%. It's incredible when it tells you that. And I love when we get to that point, as long as on our eating days, we actually eat. No forgetting to eat. Don't do it. After 3 days on the niacin, a newfound appreciation for help. Only thing, metformin. That was funny. Let me see. Oh, yes. Keto Chow and Redmond's have unflavored, and Element does too. They have unflavored and unsweetened electrolytes as well. Element, Richard has that one. He puts it in his sparkling water with his apple cider vinegar. Yeah, when I started iodine, my body also said no fasting for a while. We were making that carnivore lasagna tonight. So good, but only want to do it maybe once a month. the dairy, and dairy is evil. It just is. It can be more addictive than wheat, like physiologically in the brain. It can be more addictive than meat. So than meat, than wheat. It can be more addictive than wheat. So, like I tried to go back, but yeah, I like it too much. There's some people that they're like, oh yeah, I went back to high fat, and so I got this double cream, this double thick extra cream. They're like, I ended up rinsing half the tub down the drain because I couldn't stop. Like that is that addiction. I will take your share of dairy, Amy, right? So sweet. We will trade dairy for coffee. I love it. I can have hard cheese, a little bit of hard cheese, but just a little bit of hard cheese, and that's about it. I like cheese, but I don't think my body is addicted. And there's some people that can handle it just fine. How do you know if you're under eating over the long haul rather than just fasting or listening to your body? I don't want to downregulate, but if I can eat less, is that a problem? If you're in a ketogenic state, I think you will be able to hear your body's signals better. And that's one of the things the Dr. Boz talks about is when you get into ketosis, you end up consuming a smaller volume of food because the fat has so much more to it. This is one of the reasons that I actually do harp on the protein, is because I'm afraid I've had people say, hey, can I just eat 30 grams of protein? No, you can't. You need more than that. And that's one of the things that begins to happen is our extreme behaviors start to take over. And then we go, maybe if 70 is good, if I half it again, it'll be even better and I'll get there even faster. That is not the way that chemistry works. Chemistry is going to do what it's going to do in the time that it does it. You cannot force it. You just have to wait and be patient. So my only concern, like, she talks about the eating windows and shortening the eating window. My concern is that a lot of our extreme tendencies are going to come back, and then we're only going to have like 600 calories for the day because I just couldn't fit any more in that 4 hours. That's okay for like a day, but not over the entire week. And that I have seen time and time again is, oh yeah, well, I'm shortening my eating window. Okay, and what did you eat in the eating window? Well, I didn't really have time, and so I ran out, and so I only had, and I'm like, you got to stop doing that. And that's like the really important part to address is your own personal issues. You have to be honest with yourself. I don't want people looking at this and going, oh, I can lower my calories. And I don't want people going, oh, I can drop everything. It'll be so much faster. No. Like, that's why I tell people I'm on continuum number 1. Like, I am at the very, very bottom rung, and I'm staying here because my numbers are fantastic. This morning, I woke up, my blood sugar was 79, my ketones were 5.0. Why would I mess with that? I'm popping glycogen bubbles, and my ketones are 5. So I am not going to mess with it at all. I was instructed by Dr. Boz, don't mess with it. Ride the wave, enjoy it while you can. And she's shocked that it's still going that good. So I think we're onto something, and it's super exciting. But yeah, Lisa, that's my concern. I don't want people's extreme behaviors to take over, and then they find an excuse to not eat or to binge too. Well, I didn't eat yesterday, so today I have to make up for it. I think dealing with those underlying issues in the mindset is super, super, super important. So Lori, yes, you do have to have a special machine. I don't have mine. And Blaze, you can't hold it up to the camera for me. I look, thank you. Thank you, Julia. I use the Keto Mojo, but most people find that they prefer the Fora 6. That is a little bit more resilient. The test strips they can handle hot and cold better. And I think you can check your uric acid with it too. Can't you, Blaze? Somebody that has a 406, can you check your uric acid? So a lot of people, a lot of carnivores especially, thought that they were in ketosis because the only thing that was required for ketosis, thank you, Blaze. The only thing required for ketosis is low carbs. Not true. Inaccurate. And total cholesterol. That's really cool. I didn't know that. So we all thought we were in ketosis because we're carnivores and we don't eat any carbs. So we're in ketosis. So we all started checking our blood sugar, and our fasting blood sugars were like 110, 120, 130. That's like the technical definition of a diabetic, by the way. If your fasting blood sugars are above like 120 to 125. So yeah, we weren't doing well. Our body's chemistry was not liking what we were doing. So we ended up, this is why so many of us have switched over to the high fat, moderate protein, because protein can be turned into sugar in your body. And not only that, it raises your insulin more than fat does. Not as much as carbs, but for some people who are extremely insulin resistant, it does raise your insulin almost as much as the carbs do. So that was kind of eye-opening. And it also raises uric acid. So that was kind of eye-opening for all of us because we all thought we were in ketosis because we're low carb. So we're fine, right? We were not fine. And now we're actually getting into ketosis, and there's so many reasons why we were doing that. This book, Any Way You Can, Don't Fall, by Dr. Annette Bosworth. I don't care if you're carnivore. I don't care who you are, how long you've been what. I think you should start with this one. I really, really do, because this gives you the basics of why ketones matter and all that it can do for your body. It's mind-blowing. It really is, because just a little hint, everybody has cancer in them. Everybody. However, some people that she talks about in this that had biopsies done and they had their autopsies when they passed away, people who were in ketosis, no cancer. None at all. I want that. When I die, I want them to open me up and be like, this is one of the healthiest brains I've ever seen, and not a speck of cancer. Everybody has cancer. So that book is absolutely incredible. I think everyone should start with that. If you are even curious about whether or not you are in ketosis, whether it matters to you, it's a cancer preventative. And Alzheimer's and dementia and depression. This is how I got off of my medications. I didn't get off my medications when I was carnivore. Dr. Fun is also amazing. Yes. I didn't get off my medications when I was carnivore. I got off my medications when I was keto. And I was in a state of ketosis. Keto is not a diet. It is a state of chemistry in your body. So that is how I got off my medications. And then I veered away from that. And then I went to carnivore. And then I kind of got scared because I was like, I think I need some more medication. And then I tried to push it. And honestly, it just kind of continued to almost build up. So I was like, I'm getting scared because my attitude and my mindset is not where it should be. And now that I'm actually back in ketosis, it's night and day. It's so different. My pain is almost completely gone. And that to me is everything. until I figure out how to treat all of this. I really want her to translate any way you can into German. My grandma. Oh, she has CLL? Oh. I think there's a program that you can buy that'll translate stuff. I don't know. Yeah, but that's so sad. I'm so sorry, Julia. Even high protein, my fasting glucose was between 96 and 97. Not terrible, but not what I wanted. No, it's not terrible. And you're healthier. So you can handle a higher amount of protein, just maybe not that high. And that's okay. I really think that once we heal, when we become more insulin sensitive, then we'll be able to eat more protein. I really do. That is my true belief, because I've seen what Dr. Voz eats. She actually eats quite a bit of protein. And so I think that we absolutely will heal, and we will get to that point where we will be good. Lindsay, you've been on here forever. Oh my gosh, it's like an hour and 20 minutes, honey. Yeah, I keep saying all the time diet, then I have to correct myself. Lifestyle change, 100%. Pam, I am. In Canada, I use the Freestyle Precision Neo Monitor. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. I have never heard of that one. And it measures both glucose and ketones, got it under prescription. So my drug plan covers. I love it. Blaze, where in Texas? As I die. I can translate it. I reached out to Dr. Boz to help her. Oh, that's awesome. I recently purchased the Keto Continuum and the workbook. Should I go back to the first book? If you have the ability to start at the beginning, start at the beginning. I was recommending, I was like, oh no, if you already know what a ketone is, then just go to the Continuum. But now that I've re-listened to both of them like 3 times, no, I think everybody needs to start at the beginning. I think everybody needs to do any way you can first. It sets the stage for the second book. No, it is not required reading, but it gives you a better understanding and a better overview. So, yeah, I loved it. Just for the story of Grandma Rose, it was incredible. And then when you get to Keto Continuum, it's just incredible. Start with any way you can. Also, anyone who, awesome, it's in your Amazon cart. I was just about to say, anybody who purchases one of Dr. Boz's books, please, please, please go leave a 5-star book review on Amazon. Because when we do that, what it does, it really helps her out, because Amazon will then begin to promote her books. And that is a way that we can help get the word out about this method and what this is doing, and help other people that have cancer to find this way of eating. So please go leave a 5-star book review. If you don't think it's worth 5 stars, then don't leave a review. Contact me and I'm going to ask you why. Why do you say this? Because I think it is. That's just me. Huntsville says, Blaze, do you feel different being in that high of ketosis? Oh, yes. It's like getting on the iodine and getting that boing. I feel amazing. Yeah. When I get up into these higher levels of ketosis, a friend of mine messaged me. I don't know if she's still on here. 7.5 ketones. And I'm like, even I'm not going that high. Overachiever. A little butt munch. So many big changes this year for me. I went from a 2-pack a day smoker, carbivore, to a full on carnivore and a non-smoker. That's incredible. Congratulations. Like, that is, I always tell people, 1 step at a time. Even if you go from 10 Diet Cokes a day to 9 Diet Cokes a day, that is worth celebrating. You you took it to the next level. That is amazing. You need that boing. It'll come. It'll get there. It'll get there. Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. 1 year non-smoker in September. Congratulations and happy anniversary. Yep, I love it. Celebrate the small wins. It gets us to the next day. Yes, it does. Speaking of next day, I should go. I have a VIP meeting. Oh, I need to tell you guys again too. My Mighty Network. It's $30 for my VIPs every month. if you guys want to get in at the $30, do it before September 1st. September 1st, the price is going up to $50 a month. The price of everything is increasing. The price of all of my stuff is increasing. And I'm like not even going to be able to cover all of that. So if you guys want to get in at the $30, anyone that's in at the $30 this month or prior to this month, you get grandfathered in and you get to keep that price for the life of however long you are with me. So just if you want to do that, if you're on the fence about it, I highly recommend that you do that. Yeah, I wanted to let you guys know. But last day for the workshop tomorrow, I'm going to post the link down below. The VIP link is down below. So I think that's it. Yeah. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I will see you, I don't know, next week. Something. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah. So bye, guys.